set up the peace cycle really as a response to the Jenin massacre in 2002. At the time I was living in Oxford in a theological college where my husband was training to be a priest, and he was studying first century Palestine, and I had the radio on and I was listening to reports of a massacre taking place in a refugee camp in Jenin in 21st century Palestine, and I just thought, people don't know about this. We've got to do something to raise awareness about what's going on there now, because the situation here, I think, is preventing world peace anywhere. So I just wanted to do something practical, really, that would help people to show solidarity with the Palestinians and raise awareness in Europe. Europe's very powerful. It's a very powerful trading partner with Israel. And I just felt people weren't talking about it enough, people didn't know about the issues. I happened to see a bike ride poster and put the two things together. I heard about a man called Brian Moran who was also thinking of doing a charity bike ride for Palestine. So the two of us basically got together, decided that we were going to organise a bike ride from London to Jerusalem, which at the time to me seemed a slightly crazy idea, but we did find 25 cyclists, and they came from 10 different countries, and in 2004 they cycled all the way from London to Jerusalem, which took 6 weeks, and there were sort of two aims really of the ride. The first part of it was riding through Europe, showing solidarity with peace groups that we met, but predominantly raising awareness amongst communities in Europe. And then the second part of it was, once we got to Palestine, it was showing solidarity with the Palestinian people and learning about the situation. So for each cyclist, they were able then to go back to their countries in a much better informed position from which to campaign for justice and peace. So that was the first ride, which I thought would probably be a one-off, but everybody said this has got to happen again. So we did almost the same thing in 2006, London to Jerusalem ride, and again had fantastic response to it. Since then we've done 3 further rides, but we've shortened them and actually made them really in Israel and Palestine, so that we could focus on the issues here and also raise some money for different projects that we've helped to set up here. And this ride this year started in Nazareth. We had 15 cyclists, mostly from the UK, 2 from Belgium, 1 from Norway, and most of the group hadn't been to Palestine before. Everyone was interested in the situation here. Everyone had varying degrees of knowledge about it. We met with different Palestinians. We went to refugee camps. We met people at organisations that help with prisoner human rights and the legal issues. We learnt about the negotiating position of the Palestinian Authority. So really just to get a good overview, water issues, that sort of thing. So everybody I think now feels that they can go home with a much clearer idea of the issues here, so they're able to campaign, talk to people about what's happening here. The group have just coped with everything fantastically. They've had such a positive attitude. Everyone's been so engaged with the issues, asked fantastic questions every time we've met anyone. So I feel it's been such a positive experience, the whole thing, for me personally and for the group and for the peace cycle and for everyone we've met. We again work with the Siraj Centre in Bexhall, who I've worked with really from the beginning of the peace cycle, and they've been fantastic. There's always another side of that, and of course it's been incredibly sad. Every time we've met a Palestinian, and the welcome has been fantastic, and everyone who's hosted us have just made us feel so welcome. But everything is tinged with sadness, because we know we're leaving these people in this situation. We can go back to our comfortable lives. And they're really stuck here in what is literally an open-air prison. Most Palestinians are confined to the area they live in. They can't go overseas. Many Palestinians, most living in the West Bank, can't even visit Jerusalem. They have trouble at checkpoints. They're harassed daily by the army. A lot of them under threat of having their land taken from them. Most of them don't have enough water. For me personally, having come here before over the last 10 years several times, I think what's really struck me is the settlements. Every time I come, the settlements are just expanded so much that some places you can stand there and look around you, sort of 360 degrees around you. You can see Israeli settlement building up on the hills, overlooking the Palestinian towns and villages, and that, for me, just spells disaster for any hope of a two-state solution. And you just think, how is that issue going to be overcome? So that's, I suppose, a negative side of it. That's made me feel really sad, but it's made me feel as well that there's such an urgency that the international community have got to do something about this situation, because it just can't go on. It can't go on for the Palestinians, and I think it can't go on for the Israelis. And I think even individuals, you might feel powerless, but I think everyone can do something. We can all boycott Israeli goods, we can all find out more about what's happening here. People can bring groups here and visit and support Palestinian non-violent resistance. Personally, I think everybody should find out about the situation here and get involved and try and help. So I'm sort of going away, I suppose, with a very positive view in some ways and a very negative view in others. I feel very sad, but I feel spurred on to work even harder, really, for the Palestinian people, for justice here, and ultimately so that there can be peace for everybody here.